everybody. Jim here with another live stream. So I'm going to wait for a few minutes, talk, and see who comes on. I see a few people is jumping on. Thank you so much. Make sure you put a comment, put your name in there so I can see who it is that's watching. Now, if it says Facebook user, I'm not sure how to tell you, but it says somewhere in your settings, there's a way to change that so that I can see who it is that's commenting on Facebook, but I'm not quite sure what to tell you. So I know I'm not much help. I'm very, very sorry about that. But I'm so glad that you're here. I have a lot of surprises tonight. I'm going to do things a little bit differently. So I'm going to appeal to the parents and I'm going to talk to the kids a little bit. And I'm going to tell you all about this book right here, Timothy McMaster. I'm so excited that it's been published. It's in on the Barnes & Noble website, barnesandnoble.com, and it's also on Amazon. So if you would be so kind to go buy a copy. If I have ever done anything nice for you, why don't you go on Amazon and buy a book and then leave me a nice review or just tell me what you think about the book. Those kind of things really do help in the algorithms. Is that what it's called? So that other people can see the book that other people are enjoying. I had a friend this morning say, I can't find it on Amazon. Now make sure you're spelling it Timothy McMaster, and you'll find it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble, but you have to be careful how you spell it because there's not anything else on Amazon or Barnes & Noble that has Timothy McMaster, that you won't find it under that, or Timothy McMaster. You won't find it. Timothy McMaster is the name of the book. So I'm glad that you're here. So I see, I see a few people that have come on. Thank you so much. So I am going to start something new. So how many of you think that there's a lot of things about screen time versus family time on the internet? Yeah, there's no shortage of things about family time, screen time, time management. There's a lot of things. So I found a quote from somebody that I don't know, but I think this quote might help you understand what it is that was motivating some of this stuff to write this book. So, hi, Jeannie. Good to see you again. I'm so glad you figured out how to do that, how to get that so that I could see your name. So, Dr. Sunwolf is a professor at Santa Clara University out in California. And I'm going to teach you some motions for the words that she said that I agree with. Okay, so the first word is some. So put your left hand up with your palm facing up. Put your other right hand and just kind of go halfway and say some. Dr. Sunwolf said some. Okay, next word, some days. So you put your pointer finger out and you put your other hand like this, and then you go down like twice. Days. So what was this? Some days. Next word. Let's see if I can get that slide up. Okay. We. So point at yourself and then point at the other shoulder. So we. What was it? Dr. Sunwolf said, some days we. Now this word, need. So you're kind of desperate. Need. So you go down with your pointing finger 3 times. Need. Okay. So what was it? Dr. Sunwolf says, some days we need chocolate. No, that's not what she said. Some days we do need chocolate, but that's not what Dr. Sunwolf said. Some days we need to turn. So What was it Dr. Sunwolf said from the beginning? Some days we need to turn. Next word, the quiet. The quiet. Dr. Sunwolf said from the beginning, some days we need to turn the quiet. Last word, up. Up. Some days we need to turn the quiet up. We have a lot of activity, a lot of noise around us all the time, but we need to turn down the noise and turn the quiet up. Okay, one more time from the beginning. Dr. Sunwolf said, some days we need to turn the quiet up. Be still. Read a book. Do something that is using your brain, not just things coming at you. Now, I know that somebody's going to say, well, Jim, you are telling us not to watch screens while you're on a screen. Yeah, I know. But sometimes you just have to turn the quiet up, and you have to be still, and you have to let other things fill your mind, like something out of a book. So that is what Dr. Sunwolf said from Santa Clara University, professor in Santa Clara University. And I happen to agree with her. That is a good thing to do. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make this bigger. And this comes from an article, Family Time versus Screen Time by Catherine Jones. And she wrote this for a website called 10 Minutes of Quality Time. Now, I think this is a very, very cool article. And so you can go and you can read the whole thing, but I'm going to read a few things for you. And let's see if I can make this bigger. How do I make this bigger? Oh, here it is. Okay. So next slide, we're going to go to the next slide. And this says, more and more kids seem to spend most of their time with technology instead of playing outside like we did as kids. They are more likely to be found watching television or playing games on a tablet. Kids may need to be in front of a computer to do their schoolwork, just as you may need to do your work on the computer. But spending a lot of free time in front of a screen is not good for a child's development. Now, this part, I love it. The value of a good parent. Educational apps and computer programs are great, but our children need us more. While we may not be able to teach our kids how to do long divisions, we can teach them how to communicate, interact with others, and build relationships. Our children need free time away from screens and with their family and friends to truly thrive as human beings. I love this next line. Technology can turn our kids into great learners, but quality family time can turn them into great people. It should be noted that we actually, okay, I won't read that. Your children won't remember the times you were both on your devices, but they will. I can't, okay, I need to get rid of exit full screen. I can't see that last line. But let's see what I need to get rid of this banner. That'll help. Okay. But they will remember the time you spent talking and listening to them. Don't you agree? I love that people, you need to calm and you need to remember, as a parent, parenting is not easy. I know that. I have 3 grown children and I have 8 grandchildren, and it's not always easy to do to be parent, but you have to stay involved with your kids and grandkids. You have to pay attention to them. Now, I'm not saying that all screen time is bad. Our grandkids have a screen time that's set aside, and you, as a parent, you need to set those times to be okay. You're okay with that, but it shouldn't be that long. Did you know that kids on average spend 3 hours a day watching television, and then they spend another up to 4 hours on a screen, not the television, but a screen like a tablet or a phone? That is too much. a few years ago, I was sitting at a stoplight, and I was in front of a junior high building, and every person that I saw coming out of of that of that place, they were like this, and they were texting people, and they were probably texting people that they were walking down the steps with. So you have to stay involved. You have to know that sometimes it's okay. It's okay to be on a screen, but you as a parent need to stay involved with your kids and love them and communicate with them and talk to them and say, how was your day? Try to, when our kids were little, we ate dinner every night together. I can't, maybe there was once or twice a month that we didn't, but most of the time we were at the table with them, asking them how their day was and seeing all the important things. Make sure that you're doing that. Limit the screen time, and you might feel like you're being the bad guy, but that's okay. Sometimes parents need to be the bad guy and say, no, it's time to put that away. I was talking to a friend earlier I think it was end of last week or maybe early this week. And he has three boys. And the oldest boy, he kept telling him, hey, it's time to get off your tablet. It's time for us to start cooking dinner. One of the traditions at their house is they cook dinner together. And so, but the guy was not paying attention. And eventually my friend went over and unplugged the Wi-Fi, which in hindsight, he said wasn't a great idea, but it got the point across. Because okay, there's probably a better way to do that, but okay, because some days we need to turn the quiet up. Don't forget, turn the quiet up and be still. Okay, so that's kind of the motivation for this book. Thank you, Jeannie. Oh, I love your comments. Thank you so much. So I am going to show the Zoom call that I had with the Illustrator, and I'm going to show that to you right now. I have a question. How do you pronounce your name?
Oh my gosh. The crazy thing is even people in South Africa can't pronounce my name, but they're being dramatic because my name is Busizwe.
Busizwe.
Yes.
I would have guessed wrong. So I'm I'm glad
But you can call me Busby. That's like my unofficial name. Like everywhere I go, I say my name is Busby. Yeah, Busby.
Busby. Oh, that's a cool nickname.
Yes.
Busby.
Yes,
so I wanted to ask. Go ahead.
That's where the username comes from.
Okay. Well, I have a couple questions. So I tell the story about how the book came to be from my perspective, but I never really heard your perspective of what happened. You responded to this ad, to this thing on freelancers. And so what was going through your mind at the time?
Okay, so basically it started with like the reason I started freelancing in the first place. I just had like a gap year and I was doing nothing the whole year. Like I was just sitting in my room where I am right now and I was just doing nothing. So then I was like, I might as well get a job and do something. And the only thing I know how to do is draw. So then I was like, okay, I joined Freelancer, and I think a week and maybe like 3 days later, I saw your competition. And I was like, oh, I think I can do that, even though I've never read like what is that guy's name? Dr. Seuss
Dr.
book.
Seuss.
I've never read one in real life. Yeah, what? I've never read any of his books. So I was kind of nervous when I like entered, but I was like, we'll just see what happens. And then when I won, I was like,
Do you remember why you won?
Yes, I do. I do remember. So there was only like 3 of us at the time. and the other two people did like other things that you didn't even ask for. And then my art style, you were like, oh, this is perfect. It's exactly what I want it to be. And I was like, well,
So there was a bunch of people. I don't know. I probably got rid of some of them because they were just totally outrageous, like the price that they wanted to charge, or what their portfolio was like. I was like, okay, just get rid of these people. So there was a bunch of people, but then you were the only one that drew what you thought Timothy looked like, and it was spot on.
oh, thank you. I really just envisioned him as a little kid with like chubby cheeks and a big smile and unruly hair. Because I know a lot of like when I was younger, every single children's book, all the kids had like crazy hair. So then I was like, I already know what I'm gonna do. I saw everything. I was like, this is gonna be so easy.
Oh man, that was so cool. I was like, this is amazing, because it was like you were the only one that took the story, but then did something specific about the story. Like that picture of Timothy was like, oh my gosh, that's him. I didn't even know. What he looked like, but now I do.
That you like it. I'm so glad that you still like it. My favorite part was probably the long sleeve with a red shirt. I feel like that's a classic. That's like very iconic. So I was like, if anything, the character has to have something like that. That's just gonna make you feel like, oh, I feel like I've read this book before. Like something that's
awesome.
cozy and comfortable.
I agree. So what picture do you think made me laugh out loud?
I already know which one it is because you told me.
Oh,
you already told me, the one where the parents were on the wall.
On the wall, man. I was like, I've been there as a parent, and now I'm here as a grandparent.
Siblings, and
what was that?
So annoying. I have little siblings, and they're so annoying. When I was visiting them these holidays, I was like, God, go away, go somewhere else. So yeah, I guess I can totally relate to that picture now. I'm just like,
oh
this
my
is
gosh,
crazy.
So amazing. Thanks, Kim. I had my mic muted. I didn't want you to hear me snacking on cookies over here. Okay, interviewing her was so awesome. I love it. So now I'm gonna play you the video of me reading the book. Here it goes.
Timothy McMaster was a big-time time waster. You would not call him sloth. You would not call him lazy. You would consider him active, but definitely not crazy. He was busy all the time, but mostly with his thumbs. And the sound that they made kind of sounded like drums. And the clicking they made drove his parents up a wall. There was clicking all day, yes, winter through fall. Even days filled with snow, even days filled with sun. Timmy should have been outside playing soccer, having fun. But instead, he was clicking, staring right at a screen. It was one of the saddest things I had ever seen. Yes, Timmy went to school, always did pretty well. But he sprinted out the door at the sound of the bell. He ran all the way home. His homework was job one. He started his gaming the second it was done. He paused for his dinner, maybe something from the grill. There was laughter and stories, an occasional spill. Then laughter and tears. The family had fun. They cleaned up the mess as soon as they were done. But the second it was done, there was no time for screams. Yes, Timmy and his siblings went right back to their screens. The parents in this family had tried for several years to limit the screen time. There had been yelling and tears. A new device had been purchased. The kids had no clue when a button was pushed just what it would do. It turned off the Wi-Fi that was there in that place. The kids started screaming, much anger on each face. There was running and yelling, the Wi-Fi has gone out. There was crying and shouting and shrieking, no doubt. The kids sat on their couch. They were very upset. This moment in time they would never forget. The parents explained as well as they could. This was meant to help the kids start behaving as they should. Each day for the family, a schedule would be made. A few hours set aside for the games to be played. Well, the kids didn't like it, but they followed the rules. They started to read more when they returned from their schools. A few months later on, the changes were remarkable. You might say amazing. You might say improbable. The kids were happier, the parents were too. Time wasn't being wasted, they all knew what to do. And Timothy McMaster and his siblings, it's true, their smiles were all bigger and their love for each other, it grew. I am happy to report that Timothy McMaster is great at time management, no longer a time waster. The end.
So fun. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being here. Hey, I got a question for you. So, which book should be next? We have 3 books that I have had illustrated by Bussie's Way. Now I know how to say her name. So it is, let's see, let's make that bigger. Bonnie McVeigh. So I need your votes. I need you to type in which book you think I should do next. Bonnie McVeigh, Didn't Like to Obey, Pete the Cheat, or Rosie La Proper. She was a terrible eavesdropper. You know, I wonder if kids these days know what an eavesdropper is. I heard my mom say that word more than once. Jimmy, are you eavesdropping? So I kind of know what that word means. But she wasn't just an eavesdropper. She was a gossip. Oh no. So I need you to type in which book you think we should do next. And yeah, so that's what I need from you. So far I've done live stream 3 times, and each time there's been 3 different answers. So I want to say you guys are the deciding vote, but I'm not sure. So if I would love to see your comment, which book you think we should do next. Okay, so one more time, what was that scripture that we did, or not a scripture, what was that saying that we did from Dr. Sunwolf? She said, some days we need to turn the quiet up. Some days we need to turn the quiet up. Sit, read a book, sit still, put the screens away. I think we will all be much better off putting the screens away for hours every day. Okay. So, so a long time ago, I wrote a song because we were going into public schools and doing assemblies, and I wrote a song called Under Construction. Now, this song was recorded, I want to say in 2003. Might have been 2002. So that's going back quite a ways. That's 20 years ago. And so I'm going to end the broadcast, the live stream tonight, playing this song. It's not very long, but it goes under construction. I'm under construction. And then there's a hammer, there's a saw, and there's a ratchet. And then It says, the person I'm going to be, and I'm just going to play. Thank you for joining us tonight. If you're watching this later, make sure you can still put a comment which book you think we should do next. And I will see you guys on the next live stream. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you later. I'm under construction for the person I'm going to be. I'm under construction, the person that you will see. I'm under construction, every single part of me. Oh yes, it's true, I wouldn't lie to you. I'm under construction. Responsibility, respect, kindness, courage, integrity, self-discipline, perseverance. I'm under construction, the person I'm going to be. I'm under construction, the person that you will see. I'm under construction, every single part of me. Oh yes, it's true, I wouldn't lie to you. I'm under construction. Oh yes, it's true, I wouldn't lie to you. I'm under construction.